Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back for a Wednesday edition of the Steel City Sports Report, where we talk everything Steelers, Penguins, and Pirates. I am your host, Brady Vini. Hope all of you are having a happy hump day. More going on in the city of Pittsburgh, especially with their three professional sports teams, the Steelers, Penguins, and Pirates. News for all three of those teams we are going to talk about today. We are going to start first and foremost, like always, with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Today, they listing their 16 players that they have added to their practice squad, and all of them familiar faces. Literally not a single player that was cut or released or waived by another team is on the Steelers practice squad. Every single person on that 16-man practice squad has at least been with the Steelers at one point throughout the preseason and training camp. We will list who is on the practice squad here in a little bit, but I'm going to start off the show talking about the Steelers and their wide receiver 2 situation. And are we starting to reach a point where we're viewing Omar Khan, okay, patience, especially with him, he's proven a couple of times now that patience has been a virtue. However, there's a fine line between patience and negligence, and we're starting to see the old meter tick towards, the negligence that he really is waiting for the perfect thing, when in reality, just, hey, we're now, 10 days away from week 1 in MetLife Stadium against the New York Jets. Let's get someone in here by now so that they can get a couple of practices under their belt in the new offense with Aaron Rodgers before week 1. Time's ticking, and it is really coming down to the wire. It is going to have to be a hell of a buzzer beater for Omar Khan to address this wide receiver 2 situation. We're going to talk about that. We'll talk about the Steelers practice squad. And then in the second half of the program, we'll talk a little bit about the Pittsburgh Pirates. Last night, they had a damn good performance by their standards, especially in their house of horrors known as St. Louis, Missouri. They just blitzed the Cardinals and attacked their starting pitcher, Andre Palante, throughout the night. Believe they put up a pretty good amount of runs within the first 3 innings, chased the start early. And then we're going to talk about the Pittsburgh Penguins as well. They made a minor coaching hire today, and also one of the NHL's top insiders saying that the team is most likely here maybe within the coming weeks, if not the coming months, be sold once again by Fenway Sports Group. First thing is first, before we officially get this show on the road, if you are new here to the channel, please subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so that you never miss when I am live. Again, 1 away, ladies and gentlemen. We are at 499 subscribers on the channel. So if you are here at all and you have not subscribed to the channel yet, please hit that subscribe button so we can officially break 500, maybe this evening, who knows. Also, like I said, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, give this live stream a like, share it, and leave a comment in the comment section. Any thoughts, questions, or opinions that you may have, I can pop those up here on the screen like this at a moment's notice. So get anything that you want to get out there, get off your chest, anything that's on your mind, put it in the comment section now. Also, would appreciate it if you go follow the channel at SCS Steel City SR on Facebook, Instagram, and X, and be sure to come back later tonight for a new edition of SCSR 60. Let's go to the comments section right now. Ray Tolerico, I believe I was number 500 just now. Congrats. Let me do a real quick refresher here, Ray. And indeed you are. Thank you, Ray, very, very much. I appreciate it. 500 subscribers here on the channel. An absolutely outstanding feat for this channel. I thank you, Ray, and I thank each and every one of you that have subscribed to the channel up until this point. I appreciate it very, very much. Thank you. That is awesome. 500 on the channel. Hell yeah. Let's continue the celebration by having a hell of a live stream here tonight. Thank you, Ray. Thank you. Appreciate it. 500 subscribers. Thank you to each and every one of you. Now, the first segment that we will talk about with this channel, newly reaching 500, let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers and their search for a wide receiver too. And you can see the question that I posed right here on this banner. Is Omar Khan being patient or negligent trying to add a wide receiver? It has been one of the main storylines for this organization for pushing 2 years now. Who is going to be a wide receiver too for this Pittsburgh Steelers team? That has been a question ever since Deontay Johnson left, and man, he has really fallen off a cliff there. Not sure how much longer he would have been a viable wide receiver too for this team. Looks like the Steelers cut bait with pretty excellent timing there. But something has to be coming soon because this has gone on long enough. 2 years now we've been looking for a wide receiver too. Matt Williamson, who I follow on Twitter, does an excellent job covering the Steelers. He's a former NFL scout, worked with the Pittsburgh Steelers, still does with Steelers Nation Radio. He says that the Steelers are still not comfortable with their wide receiver room and that they are still looking. And that has been something that has gone on for all of this offseason. They brought in Gabe Davis twice. They kicked the tires on a couple of wide receivers out there who were either asking for trades or seeking new contracts in Terry McLaurin and a couple others that are slipping my mind right now. But what really, even though they're acting like they want to add a wide receiver to, bringing in all these people and being linked to all these receivers, it is starting to get a little annoying and a little sketchy that one has not been added at this point. And I'm putting Omar Khan on the burner here. We saw today, especially 24 hours after the 53-man roster deadline across the NFL hit, we saw a ton of wide receivers get scooped up today. And I'm certain more than a handful of these guys would have been viable Steelers. Not necessarily wide receiver twos, but guys who could have came in, been a nice, wide receiver 3 or 4, and you would still, no matter who you trot out there, get good production, even if you build a bear a wide receiver 2 with 3 different guys. Gonna start off here, the big one today. First off, we have no update on the Jacoby Myers situation. Last thing we know is that the Steelers, they are the only team that has reached out to the Raiders, but they are not willing to retain money per report. I don't understand really why the Steelers want the Raiders to retain money. I mean, he's making $10.5 million, and the Steelers got what, $25 million in cap space, something like that. Are you really going to need $25 million heading into week 1? In room, maybe trying to swing a big move, just get Jacoby Myers. And also, the Raiders, they're not really willing to trade him right now more than anything. They're probably asking for, probably a 2nd-round pick, in the Steelers, I'd say they max out at a 3rd. So with Jacoby Myers being put on the back burner right now, he is still my ideal number 1 target that is left right now. The Steelers today, a very interesting name popped up for them to possibly add, and that is Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Remember him? MVS. He has been in the league for a while, and today he was being tabbed to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Former Green Bay Packer, so he has that rapport with Aaron Rodgers. It was reportedly down to him down to the Steelers and the San Francisco 49ers that MVS was looking to join. He's 6'4", at once upon a time ran a sub 4.4 40-yard dash. Deep ball getter, really hasn't had the production in the past couple of years, but a 6'4" big body wide receiver, the Steelers, they could really use one of those other than DK Metcalf. He is their only one right now. So MVS, there was a half-decent chance that he was going to be a Steeler by this time today. I could have gone live maybe even now or earlier today saying, hey, Steelers finally, got at least another wide receiver in there that could maybe at some point this season profile as a wide receiver too. But then he goes to the San Francisco 49ers. The Niners dealing with a bunch of injuries. Brandon Ayuk is hurt. Jawan Jennings, I think he's either hurt or unhappy with his current situation there. They suspended another wide receiver. They got still a technically second-year guy. I almost said a rookie, and Ricky Pearsall, who literally got shot in the chest last year. So the Niners, they scoop up Marquez Valdez-Scantling away from the Steelers today. Apparently he was with the Seattle Seahawks for the preseason. No MVS in Pittsburgh, and that isn't the only thing that isn't the only player that the Steelers have missed out on today. Another guy who I think the Steelers could have gone out and easily gotten, the Detroit Lions. They traded wide receiver Tim Patrick. He is a 6'5" receiver, another big body guy that can go up and get contested catches just like DK Metcalf. He got traded to the Jacksonville Jaguars for a 6th round pick last year. Why the hell were the Steelers able to, part ways with a 6th round pick? I mean, come on. I understand, Tim Patrick, he isn't the sexiest of options out there, had just 33 catches for 394 yards, but still had 3 touchdowns last year. You would have paid in blood for the Steelers to have a, wide receiver too that had 3 receiving touchdowns last year for how bad they were at the receiving position. Another couple other names here that, the Steelers could have had today. The Minnesota Vikings, they have a reunion with Adam Thielen. I know Thielen, bit older, pretty much profiles as a slot more than anything nowadays. But the Carolina Panthers, they ship him off in return, get a 5th rounder and a 4th rounder 2 years from now. Trey Palmer, wide receiver for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They were absolutely loaded at the wide receiver position, this training camp. He gets claimed by the New Orleans Saints off of waivers. I have no idea. I don't even know if he was on the Steelers' radar. Steelers, they were, pretty down there on the waiver claim order. So that sucks. Trey Palmer didn't, get a chance to be scooped up by the Steelers. And another one that really made me mad, kind of like the Tim Patrick one and the Marquez Valdez-Scantling moves, especially today. Malachi Corley just got cut from the New York Jets. 5'11", was highly touted coming out of the draft a couple of years ago. Got comparisons to Deebo Samuel. Was in New York last year, 2 years actually, with Aaron Rodgers. Think Rodgers liked him. Guess where Malachi Corley chooses? It is a report here from Jordan Schultz. Malachi Corley had multiple opportunities on the open market and chose to sign with the Cleveland Browns. I don't know if that is a testament to a dumb move by Malachi Corley. I have no idea if he was sane in his decision to go to Cleveland, or if that's a detriment to the Pittsburgh Steelers that even when it comes to, adding a wide receiver to this team, they can't even beat the crappy-ass Browns. So, I mean, I'm kind of heartbroken, kind of not, that they didn't add Malachi Corley. When you hear someone getting comped to Deebo Samuel, I would have liked to have gotten that guy, but still, they need another big body type of guy like Metcalf, and not a, below 5'11" player like Roman Wilson and Calvin Austin and Scotty Miller, who they have right now. So, just tons and tons of movement on the wide receiver market today, and I'm sure there is more to come. But yeah, Corley now goes to the Browns. There were some more additions today. The New England Patriots, they cut a pair of wide receivers. They had some excellent depth, not, star-powered depth, but, quality depth nonetheless at the wide receiver position. They released their former 4th-round pick wide receiver, Javon Baker, and they also released wide receiver Kendrick Bourne. If Jacoby Myers is no longer, in the question here, if I had to guess, Kendrick Bourne, probably the next up on my list of, possible guys to add. Just, off the top of my head, not trying to think too hard of who all is out there and available. 6'1", 205 pounds. So he's kind of like that middle tweener road between super big physical contested catch threat in DK Metcalf and a small, shifty, get the ball in space and run guys. So he's somewhere in the middle there. 28 catches for 305 yards and just one touchdown last year. You're hoping that he's more of his 2023 self, where he had 4 touchdown catches and 406 yards receiving, but a long ways away year-wise from what he once was. So Steelers, they are in a bind right now to not just put a Band-Aid over, what's going on this season, to get a concrete wide receiver too, for not just this year, but for the next couple of years. You're probably looking at Jacoby Myers, and that's it. Anything else is just a Band-Aid, and even then the options are thin. So it is going to be some tough times coming ahead here for Omar Khan. Hopefully he can figure something out here, get a deal done for Jacoby Myers, but starting to lean more towards him not trying hard enough to add a wide receiver too, than just, taking the easy route here and defending him, saying, oh, he's being patient here. He's waiting for the right deal where he can fleece another team. At this point, all in year, make just for once one overpayment move to address a significant need for 2 years now. Like, I'm over every single day pretty much when it comes to the Steelers coming on here and saying, oh, they still need a wide receiver too. I mean, their wide receiver core is better than last year. Don't get me wrong. DK Metcalf an upgrade over George Pickens, but I mean, come on here. Let's go to the comments here real quick. Got a ton of action there. Sean Brown, excuse me. Ray is there. Flacco is there. Seasonal salad. Let's go from the top here. Sean Brown, 50, asked me it's negligence because they're trying to keep it in low ball everyone. Just go out there one time and give up a 3rd-round pick and go get the kids from the Raiders. I mean, I think that's the offer, the best offer that they could give him, a 3rd round for Jacoby Myers. It's just, I think the Raiders, they want to hold on to him right now. Also, if you bring in Myers, the whole reason that I think he wants a trade is that he's also going to get paid. If you chip off a 3rd-round pick, I know they said that they don't want to retain money. You got the cap space. Just take on the $10.5 million and get it over with. If you want, I'll even add on one of the 8 defensive linemen that the Steelers decided to put on the 53 yesterday. 8 defensive linemen is a ton. You want a Isaiah Loudermilk or a Daniel Ekwale and Azizi Otamemwo, whatever the hell, however you pronounce his name. Anyone besides the top 3 of Harmon, Benton, and Hayward and Y.A. Black, make me an offer. You want any one of those guys with a 3rd-round pick for Jacoby Myers? Deal. We'll then bring in Myers, 3-year deal, $50 million, something like that. Just let's go. Time's ticking. This is getting really nauseating and fatiguing to talk about here, the wide receiver 2 situation on a weekly basis here. Right now, the wide receivers seem like DK and the Smurfs, lots of slot guys. Yeah, I mean, I will give at least a little bit of credit to Calvin Austin. When the Steelers drafted him, 4 years ago now, it looked like he was just going to be a slot guy for this team. He has shown some explosive, big play, deep downfield capabilities. But other than that, I think your second tallest wide receiver on roster right now, Metcalf is 6'4", 230. Then you're looking at 6'1", 6'2", Ben Skoranek, who's a little over 200 pounds, probably 210, and he's a core special teams guy. So you got Metcalf, large drop-off in height and talent, Ben Skoranek, and then an even larger drop-off in height, but a little bit more talent with the trio of Scotty Miller, Roman Wilson, and Calvin Austin. So, yeah, Metcalf and the Smurfs right now. Just Jacoby Myers, he's no, tall guy either. He's 6'2". He's sort of in that middle ground area. Just at least get someone there. Myers, Bourne, someone in that middle ground there, so that we're not, going to be watching in the first game against the Ravens or Browns or someone, us scraping Calvin Austin or Scotty Miller off the turf. So, yeah, need a big wide receiver too in a bad way, and Steelers missed the boat on a couple of players to do that today. Why have draft capital if you're not going to use it? I thought that's the whole reason why you get draft capital. In that way, you can use it when you want to. And that's another thing, like going back to the Tim Patrick trade, the Lions shipping him off down to Jacksonville. For him, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, he's 6'3". You could have just, paid Scantling a little bit more than the 49ers. You got the capital to do that. But for a trade like Tim Patrick, bringing him in 6'5", you couldn't have parted ways with a 6th round pick. You're already going to have a ton of draft picks coming up next year in 2026. You got your first, you got your second. You're at least going to get 3/3, the Steelers' initial 3rd rounder, the one you got back in the George Pickens trade, and a compensatory one for Dan Moore Jr. signing with the Tennessee Titans. And then you got more comp picks along the way. You can afford to get rid of your own 6th round pick. You're most likely going to get at least a 6th round pick back from Justin Fields or Russell Wilson signing elsewhere. So they got the draft capital to do so. I understand, accruing capital to possibly trade up next year for a quarterback, but you're telling me it's, such a good class next year that you can't part ways with a 6 to help your team out this year in an all-in year? Like, come on. Yeah, but he signed with San Fran because we didn't offer him enough money, and that's the bottom line. Yeah. Also, thought there was a rumor out there. I haven't seen anybody confirm it that the Steelers were just offering him a practice squad spot. If so, really? Or you're just going to practice squad MVS, a guy who has a rapport with Aaron Rodgers. You could put him in special packages to use him to the best of his abilities. You couldn't have cut in Otamenwo or someone like that to add it. And we're going to get into the Steelers, moves today for the practice squad. They also put 2 players on IR, and they brought back 10th offensive lineman. Did we really need a 10th offensive lineman instead of, bringing in a guy who could be, wide receiver 2 in certain scenarios? Just confuses me. Why not go after Malachi Corley? His size and everything else matches A.J. Brown. Phoenix to do it all. Guy with speed. Yeah. I assume you're talking about Malachi Corley there. No clue. No clue why they did not make any moves here today. Flacco in the comments section. Goes to watching, but here, hit the like button. Salute Flacco. Appreciate you showing up as always. The poor kid missed out on playing with Kenny Pickett. Oh, man, what a hilarious Browns offense it would have been if Kenny Pickett remained healthy throughout the preseason. Because if Pickett remains healthy, I think you would have seen Joe Flacco get cut and Pickett be in his place as a starter to begin the year. But then you see Dylan Gabriel and Shadur Sanders later in the year. Just imagine if you were the Steelers, it's week 6, I think, is when they play them. And you're the defense. You're Jalen Ramsey, Cam Hayward, TJ Watt. You're looking at the Browns offense. You got Kenny Pickett at quarterback, legal trouble Quinshon Judkins in the backfield, Jerry Jeudy, he's all right. Malachi Corley, who willingly chose to go to the Steelers, or to the Browns, which, man, talk about just ending your career before it even started. And then Isaiah Bond, who's another guy with legal troubles. Would have been even hilarious if they kept Deontay Johnson. So we'll see. Seasonal salad here. Omar is probably talking to Deontay Johnson right now. Just talked about him. Steelers. I mean, DJ's what? Is he probably like the 6 foot mark? So still, a little bit. I'd like someone a little bit bigger, but if the Steelers need a wide receiver who causes fights in the locker room, drops the ball, and runs backwards, guess he's their guy. He's the number one favorite contact on that list. I think people don't want to play for a defensive coach on the offensive side of the ball. We don't have problems getting defensive guys. We have problems getting offensive weapons. Still, though, even though he's a defensive coach, Mike Tomlin is just such a well-liked and respected coach in the NFL. You would think he would be able to persuade some other wide receivers to come in. And even on the offensive side of the ball, another well-respected guy in Arthur Smith from all accounts. You got a legendary Aaron Rodgers. And wide receivers, if you're worth anything, you would look at the Steelers situation and say, Calvin Austin, Roman Wilson. Roman Wilson's still an infant in the NFL, and Calvin Austin, he's, hot and cold. I think I can beat those guys out and get a majority of the wide receiver 2 snaps. So I don't get it. It's perplexing me right now why wide receiver 2 has not been added. So they really love Roman Wilson, to be fair. I hope that the preseason wasn't a fluke and it wasn't, Roman going up against, future insurance salesmen of America here. We, as Steelers fans, we should know all too well we're not that far removed from Kenny Pickett looking like the next coming of Dan Marino in the preseason. So I like Roman Wilson too, even though he's 5'10", he plays like a guy double his size. He's willing to stick his face in the fan per se and get down field and block and be physical. But I got to see it in the regular season before I write his name in pen, in solid ink, that he is going to be a solid, consistent contributor as a wide receiver 2 or 3 for the, foreseeable future of this team. Note to Deontay, Indy Flacco, note to Deontay. But you know what? We're talking about the Steelers here, and what are they going to do? Adding a wide receiver. They missed out on MVS, missed out on Adam Thielen, Tim Patrick, missed out on Terry McLaurin, even though that wasn't really a possibility. They're probably going to miss out on Jacoby Myers because that's looking more and more unlikely as the days go on. But hey, you know what? At least the Steelers still have Robert Woods. Getting into right now the other big Steelers news topic of the day, and that is they filling out their 16-man practice squad today. And like I just said, Robert Woods, he makes the team's practice squad, at least for now. Tom Pelissero, NFL insider for NFL Network, saying that Robert Woods plans to re-sign with the Steelers practice squad for now, and he is one of many. As a matter of fact, every single practice squad member for the Pittsburgh Steelers to at least begin the season has been here for at least, showing up some point in Latrobe before training camp. All familiar faces. Robert Woods is back. DeMarvin Leal is back. Beanie Bishop, ladies and gentlemen, is back. Steelers fans who came out of the woodworks yesterday to cry foul over Beanie Bishop. I'm pretty sure a majority of them were West Virginia fans saying, oh, how could you cut Beanie Bishop even though he only plays slot and nothing else, and 3 of his 4 interceptions last year were tipped balls that went right into his hands. Don't fret, ladies and gentlemen. If Jalen Ramsey goes down and then Brandon Echols goes down, Beanie Bishop, at least to begin the season, is on the practice squad. He is back. A couple other guys are back as well. James Pierre, he is back. I like that addition. I think people, including me at times, are too harsh on him, but you can't overlook what he provides as a gunner on special teams. Couple rookie undrafted free agent standouts in wide receiver Keyshawn Williams and tight end J.J. Galbraith. They are back, rounding out the rest of the 16-man practice squad here for the Pittsburgh Steelers. The 2 running backs that pretty much every Steelers fan that watched from beginning to end all 3 preseason games are back. Lou Nichols and Trey Sermon have returned. Max Hurlman, the sort of Swiss Army knife out there. He can play wide receiver, running back, fullback, you name it. He is back. Guard / tackle, Stephen Jones is back. Dylan Cook, offensive tackle, is back. Defensive tackle, Kyler Baugh. Outside linebacker, Julius Welshoff. Corner, Daryl Porter Jr. Corner, Deshaun Jameson. And to wrap up the Steelers' 16-player practice squad, my personal favorite that I turn a blind eye sometimes to how good this guy may or may not do in the preseason. My favorite undrafted free agent from this class, safety Sebastian Castro, has returned as well. All 16 players on the Steelers practice squad, members of the team, going back to the preseason and training camp at St. Vincent College. Two of the few names who were cut or waived yesterday that did not make the practice squad, wide receiver Brandon Johnson and tackle Dominique Davis. Those guys have been reverted to the team's injured reserve list after clearing waivers, and both will be out for the season unless they reach an injury settlement with the team and get released from there. So that is the Steelers' 53-man roster, or we now know the Steelers' 53-man roster, and that is their 16-player practice squad. The team also today had practice again. Beanie Bishop, Robert Woods, James Pierre, the whole bunch of them back out there on the practice field. A couple other notes from Steelers practice today. Safety Juan Thornhill back out there in uniform working again. He missed a couple of practices, including and as well as the final preseason game. Outside linebacker Nick Herbig, who Mike Tomlin said he does not know if he will be good to go week one. He is working back from a hamstring injury, was not in a practice jersey or helmet today, was just in, a sweatshirt and shorts running a ladder drill, one of the videos I saw out there. Heard from a couple other people as well. Tight end Jonnu Smith says that he feels great, and he is just focusing and getting ready for week one and continue to jump on this moving train and just get ready to get back. He's been dealing with some sort of nagging injury since training camp. We did not see him in any of the preseason games. He's been out for a while. I have had skepticisms for a good bit now of if he would be available for week one. Hopefully, by his words here, he will be. And Steelers are going to need him, especially if, they continue along with the trend of not adding a wide receiver 2 up to this point. And we also heard from head coach Mike Tomlin. He had a brief press conference today, said a couple of interesting things, including addressing the punter battle, Corliss Waitman, at least to us fans, upsetting Cameron Johnston to be the team's punter this upcoming year. Tomlin said that the team liked Waitman a little bit better. But the main story for Tomlin, he said that he anticipated the team to make some more moves before at the 4 p.m. transaction deadline today. Those moves were made. Steelers, they are bringing back Chuck Clark and guard Max Sharping, placing Will Howard and Dante Kent on short-term IR. Howard and Kent now out for the first 4 weeks of the season. So those two guys will, you might at the earliest see those guys at least on the sidelines in uniform after the week 5 bye. Chuck Clark, safety. I told you guys yesterday when Bishop, Pierre, and Clark got cut, said don't be surprised if one or two of those guys get brought back to the active roster. All three technically did come back. Clark on the active roster, being the 4th safety in that defensive backs room, and Pierre and Bishop are on the practice squad. One thing I did not get, though, bringing back guard Max Sharping. Now, quality backup guard, but did you really need? You had 9 offensive linemen. You had your 5 starters, along with the 2 Andersons, Ryan McCullum, and Andres Pete. Did you really need a fifth backup offensive lineman? Could have used his spot for, I don't know, a wide receiver, another defensive back. The corner room is still pretty thin with just 5 guys there. Maybe it could have, I don't know. But that is the moves that the Steelers made today. I'm sure they will practice a handful more times before the week is over. And then next week, all Steelers talk will be in preparation for week 1, September 7th, against the New York Jets and Justin Fields at MetLife Stadium. A revenge game for Aaron Rodgers, a revenge game for Justin Fields. Storylines galore for that one. Excited to get into that first game of the season more next week. 19 of you in here right now. Welcome to the live stream. If you have not done so already, please subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so that you never miss when I am live again. We have officially today broken 500 subscribers on the channel, up to 501 now. So aside from Ray, one more person has subscribed to the channel today. I appreciate that person that did so. Also, while you're here, leave a like, share this live stream, and leave a comment in the comments section. Back to the comment section right now. Yinzer Joe, love the profile picture there. Bobby Boucher, adding a seasonal salad, and what he said earlier, talking about the Steelers probably bringing back Deontay Johnson. Might be right about Johnson. I mean, the Steelers have already quite a few players with attitude issues. Why not add another? LOL. Are we really that sure about the Steelers having, an overabundance of diva characters? I mean, just trying to go off the top of my mind here, who all is on the team that has been considered a diva? I mean, Cam Hayward within the past couple of weeks, seeking more money, diva-ish like actions from him, but has he been a diva his whole career? No. Jalen Ramsey, maybe a little, but I think he's just, more overconfident than, anything diva-wise. Aaron Rodgers, I'm sure tons of Steelers fans still have preconceived feelings and, takes about him, but everything he has done up until this point with the Steelers has been a consummate teammate and professional. I don't know who else on the team would be, considered a hardcore diva. But hey, every team needs one. Maybe Deontay Johnson can be that guy. All those wide receivers are washed up, says DLC. Woods won't see the field. Yeah, I'm shocked that they brought him back for the practice squad. That just tells you, bringing back 3 wide receivers on the practice squad. You got Max Hurlman, Woods, and Keyshawn Williams. That they are probably going to end up, if they don't get a wide receiver within the next couple of days, they might just, cut another guy and elevate Robert Woods to the active roster for week 1 if they can't get anything done. But yeah, Woods, just to go along with your take here, DLC, all those wide receivers are washed. Aside from Jacoby Myers, Kendrick Bourne isn't what he once was, going back to his days in San Francisco. Adam Thielen getting over the hill, MVS over the hill. So that's really the few bright sides of the Steelers not signing those guys, is that they're past their prime. So it's Jacoby Myers or bust. We're getting to that point, and we're getting there fast. Did Chuck Clark make the practice squad? Nope. Yinzer Joe just said it with the roster moves today. Will Howard and Dante Kent going to IR. Chuck Clark back on the active roster, which I like that move a ton. I know Jalen Ramsey, he plays a little bit of safety, but you can't just have your hardcore safeties be Juan Thornhill, Deshaun Elliott, and then the main guy behind those two is Miles Killebrew, which, no offense to Miles Killebrew, he's a hell of a special teamer, but it would be very unsettling to have Killebrew out there on defense for 10 to 15 snaps a game. So love Chuck Clark coming back. Didn't, light the world on fire for the preseason, but At least he's a familiar, somewhat brand name that you can put out there. And hey, he continues the trend of Steelers adding former Ravens defenders to their team. Did it with Patrick Queen, Malik Harrison, Chuck Clark added to the group. Not too long ago, Jeremiah Moon was on the team. I think he got cut or waived with an injury near the beginning of training camp. But yeah, Chuck Clark continues that trend. No, they are looking to put two of those. Yeah, you're just picking up what he said. Their DLC. Deontay will not be in the NFL. He will follow his friend Claypool. Is Claypool in the CFL? Where's Chase Claypool? Because it was just Steelers trade him to the Bears. Bears cut him. He has like one training camp or something with the Buffalo Bills, and then he just disappeared. He's in the CFL, I think. I don't know. Thank you, Flacco. Congrats on 500. Thank you to all of you. Would not be possible without each and every single one of you watching this right now. So I appreciate it. We got rid of the worst one, number 14. Indeed, we did, Ray. Indeed, we did. The talent was not worth the headache. The juice was not worth the squeeze with Deontay Johnson. See what I did there? Refers to himself as Juice on Instagram. Whatever. Deontay won't block. Is a huge problem. Great route runner. But someone who gives up on a play is bad. Yeah. Not too long ago, it's still fresh in our minds. The fumble against the Cincinnati Bengals a couple years ago that he just literally watched the Bengals dude pick up and go the other way. And speaking of not blocking, back to Ray here saying we got rid of the worst diva 14. George Pickens had all the physical gifts that you would want in a top-end wide receiver, but he didn't want to do the small things like that either. He brought an attitude that did not back up his production. You have a great show. Thank you, Truth. I thank you very much. Really, really cool room you're in. Thank you very much. Put this room together pretty much myself. Try to, separate the room into 3 quadrants. You got your Pittsburgh Pirate area right there, back there. Pittsburgh Penguins. Even got my blow-up Stanley Cup right here. And then over my shoulder here, Pittsburgh Steelers one. And then a whole entertainment center filled with, little different things over here. Lots of cool memorabilia in this room. So appreciate that, Truth. Really do. Offer Skylar Thompson in a 4th for Jacoby or something. That would have been good about, I don't know, 48 hours ago before the Raiders traded for Kenny Pickett, but I don't think they're going to take that right now. I think, honestly, it's odd still to me that Mike Tomlin just a couple of days ago said that Will Howard was trending back towards being a full participant, and then today he gets put on IR. Thought that was strange. I think, honestly, now, Howard, if they really needed him to, be on the sideline and be a backup quarterback, he could. But there's got to be a ton that would need to happen for Will Howard to see the field within the first 4 weeks of the season. So they're just going to put him on IR. He'll still be in the building, looking over the playbook and all that, seeing, still learning what it means to be a quarterback in the NFL. And they keep Skylar Thompson, who, if Will Howard wasn't here, Thompson definitely earned the spot to be a QB3, and he would be, for his preseason performance, a QB2 on some teams. I think right now they're just holding on to him. Maybe a quarterback of a team goes down within the first 4 weeks of the season. Then you see the Steelers flip Thompson for a deal like that. So really, at the end of the day, it's just a smart business move by the Steelers. It's, no slight to Will Howard or, no tell to how bad his injury is. I think they're just saying, hey, chances are we get past, week 5 heading into week 6, and we haven't gotten knocked all the way down to our QB3 yet. Let's put Howard on the IR. He'll still be in the building learning and stuff. Thompson can stay here. he earned a spot here. Worst case, we cut him. Best case, another team goes down, has the quarterback go down with injury. We flip Thompson, bring back Will Howard after the bye week, and the rest is history. So, smart business move at the end of the day, in my opinion. I think Calvin Austin is overrated, a stiff route runner, only good at straight deep routes. Yeah, it does need to work on a little bit of, stuff like that. Stiff route runner, yeah, I see that a little bit, but can't overlook the big play stuff deep downfield. Also, I really hope he stays healthy because I hold my breath every single time I see him take a moderately hard hit. So hopefully he can improve in those areas. If Mason is your QB and Killebrew is your safety, you're in trouble. Well, thankfully, at least to begin the season, we do not have those issues. Mason, backup QB. I think if Rodgers goes down, even though he had a mediocre ending to the preseason, he's still going to be the first guy out there. And yeah, Killebrew, I love him on special teams, but as a backup safety, a safety 3 on your depth chart, yeah, yikes. Will Justin Fields run all over the Steelers in week 1? Depends. Is he, gonna, or do the Steelers, have they figured out Justin Fields from his time here last year, or is Justin Fields, or are the Steelers? I think it's, not necessarily on Fields. Is he going to do it? I think it's if the Steelers are going to let him do it. Because the Steelers, for a good chunk of his career up until, the last 2 times they met this guy, they have done a pretty decent job containing Lamar Jackson. And Fields just a couple, notches behind Lamar in terms of scrambling and running abilities for NFL quarterbacks. So if the Steelers, if they can, do the smart thing, contain Fields, not do what they did against the Ravens, in that wild card game where they just crash Lamar all the time, then they'll be fine if they, just decide to contain him instead of, just going after him. But if they do what they did against the Ravens last year, then yeah, Fields can run wild. He can do that. Pickett. Yeah. We once thought that he was going to still be here today, possible, starter for the Steelers. Now he is on the Fitzmagic career route. Would you entertain Skylar in a third for Tyreek? Might as well go full diva. No. No, I would not do that because I think Tyreek Hill is going to fall off a cliff this year. Yeah, diva mentality, sure. But his whole game is predicated on speed and all that, and he's, 32? Something like that. And getting paid a bunch of money. I think that would be a hell of a contract to take on for an investment that you most likely will not get full return on. So also, 3rd round pick. If this was, Tyreek Hill even going back to 2 years ago, then hell yeah, I'd offer up a 3rd round pick. But that's a hell of a draft pick investment for a guy who certainly would help you this year, but not much beyond that, honestly. That's a type of trade I would have done for Jacoby Myers and signed him to an extension. He's at least, a little bit younger, 28 years old, and you can, envision him being here for the next couple of years, but not for Tyreek Hill. No, thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, going to keep things moving on. Been on for over 50 minutes now talking Steelers ball, and I appreciate each and every one of you in the comment section that have done so. Promise that we will get into some Steelers talk a little bit before we end the show here today. But right now, we're going to change gears. We are going to get into some Pittsburgh Pirates baseball. Yes, we still have to talk about them a little bit. I'm sure, talks around them will get lesser and lesser once the Steelers begin playing real regular season games. But while we're talking about them still, at least we have some positive to talk about. They last night beginning a road series with the St. Louis Cardinals. Well, actually, they're not beginning a series. This is game 2 of a 4-game set with the Cardinals. And St. Louis has been a house of horrors for this team. Really, the Cardinals in general have been a thorn firmly planted in the left ass cheek of this ball club for years now. And it was so satisfying, even for how bad this year has been for the Pittsburgh Pirates. It's good every once in a while to see this team take it to a pain-in-the-neck team like the St. Louis Cardinals. Last night, top of the first inning, right off the bat, the Bucks, they went into attack mode with the bats. Andrew McCutchen and Brian Reynolds, O'Neal Cruz, Spencer Horwitz, all of those guys at the top of the lineup, they went into attack mode. The Bucks ended up putting a 5 spot on the board against the Cardinals last night. And they really got to their starting pitcher, Andre Palante. As a matter of fact, their first hits, they weren't even that good. They were just ground balls that found holes through the infield. And then after those handful of singles, the doubles then came. So a 5-run first inning for the Bucks. They giving Mitch Keller, who has had a rough second half of the season, per usual, from what we've come to expect from him. They gave him a ton of run support. It did not stop there. Top of the second, Spencer Horwitz singled and then scored on a Brian Reynolds RBI double. Then O'Neal Cruz grounds out. That scores Reynolds again. Top of the third, Henry Davis, who I really hope he's showing little spurts of it here and there, but I really hope that he is turning the corner. Sure, his batting average is rough to look at. Please do not go and search that up, but he, top of the third inning, hits an absolute nuke to left field. That is 1-1 overall power right there that he displayed. That made it 8-0. That made it 8-0. Also, couldn't corral a nasty Mitch Keller slider in the bottom of the fifth. It went to the backstop, and flat-footed, just pure arm strength from Henry Davis was able to finish the strikeout with a throw down to first. Back to Mitch Keller, by the way. Talked about him ad nauseum on this channel and how ugly his second half of seasons have been, including this year. A little bit of a commercial break of happiness for him last night. 6 innings pitched. Sure, he gave up 3 runs, but he walked 1 and struck out a season-high 9 Cardinals last year. Gave up 1 home run. 93 pitches, 62 strikeouts, 62 strikes, 18 swings and misses. That is now his MLB best 16th quality start of the season. Again, Keller, sure, he's having a terrible second half, but 16 quality starts. Overall, a pretty good outing and a pretty good season thus far for him. Just, you really got to figure out why the hell does he fall off a cliff after the All-Star break. Also, why the hell do you have Paul Skeens, one of the best pitchers in the game and one of the best quality starting pitchers in the league, in Skeens and Keller, and you're still not even sniffing a wild card spot right now? That's outrageous. Anyways, that wound up being the final score last night. 8-3, the Bucks win. Couple other notes in fun stats from Colin Beasley of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette that relate to last night's game. The Pirates, 6-0 now on the season when Henry Davis hits a home run. Jared Triolo, who has been on an absolute heater for the past week or so now the first Pirate to have 5 consecutive multi-hit games since Starling Marte back in 2017. And Andrew McCutchen, I believe he had a pair of hits last night, now has 210 career hits against the St. Louis Cardinals, top amongst active players in the major leagues. So all in all, positive night, not too much negatives to take away from the ball game last night. Hopefully that success continues into tonight's ball game. Another 7:45 start time in Game 3 of this 4-game set against the Cardinals. The lineup tonight for Carmen Mlodzinski, so another bullpen game for the Buccos. Mlodzinski gets the start. Jared Triolo again leading off. Spencer Horwitz at first base. Brian Reynolds in right field. Tommy Pham back in the lineup in left field. Nick Gonzalez bats fifth and is at second base. Andrew McCutchen DHing in the 6th hole. A little bit of a drop down in the lineup for him. And a way drop down in the lineup for O'Neal Cruz, batting 7th tonight. He is in center field. Henry Davis catches, and Isaiah Kiner-Falefa at third base. We'll see what the Bucs can do tonight and tomorrow. By this time tomorrow, when I come back here and talk to you guys, we will have 2 games to react to. The Bucs tonight at 7:45, and they wrap up the series against the Cardinals tomorrow at 2:15. Braxton Ashcraft will get the start there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we get into some extra Pittsburgh sports news for this evening, once again, I will ask you to please subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. Now up to 502 subscribers, so 3 subscribers. Since we have gone live, I appreciate the 3 of you who have done so. Also, leave a like, share this live stream, and comment on this live stream, just like Ray and Flacco and so many others have done to this point. Truth, DLC, Yinzer Joe, Seasonal Salad, Sean Brown. Thank you to all of you guys who have commented. Kept things going very smoothly here tonight. Let's take a quick stroll here through Twitter before I get into the extra Pittsburgh sports news here of the day. See if anything new is going on. Just mentioned that Carmen Mlodzinski gets the start tonight for the Buccos. It will be another bullpen game for the black and gold. Colin Beasley pointing out today would have been Mike Burrow's turn in the rotation. The Pirates manager, Donnie Kelly, said they're skipping this start to manage Burrow's innings, but he'll likely appear in relief in Boston this weekend. An injury limited Burrows to 54 and 2/3 innings pitched last year. He doubled that total already this year with 109 innings pitched. Yeah, I actually agree with that move. Pump the brakes here on Mike Burrows a little bit. Sure, he's had a hell of a year, but doubling your innings count. Last time we saw that or something similar to that, that was Johan Oviedo 2 years ago. And he had Tommy John surgery that offseason. So, yeah, I'm actually quite cool with that. See if anything else is going on here. Broncos wide receiver Marvin Mims left practice today with a groin injury. They're not overly concerned about it. Oh, well, that's good. Because the next thing you know, the Broncos are trading for Jacoby Myers or something like that. Seems to be that every other team with a less significant need for a wide receiver, they get those wide receivers instead of the Steelers. Fun there. Speaking of the Steelers, we are going to get into the extra Pittsburgh sports news of the story now, of the day now. And relating to the Steelers here, these moves, not relating to them, but I will probably throughout the season keep tabs on our rivals. Before I continue on here. What up, bro? I am Jamal. Welcome, Jamal. Wake up, bro. I need you to be excited for the season. I am. Man, we need Jacoby. Yeah. Bad. If you want to fix your wide receiver issue for at least the next couple of seasons, instead of just putting a Band-Aid over a bullet hole, yeah, Jacoby Myers is the play. I would do almost anything aside from trading a first or second round pick to get Jacoby Myers right now. Speaking of some players that could be coming to the Steelers, some guys who will not be coming to the Steelers, and they didn't really need these guys to. Why don't the Steelers add more quarterbacks? but they won't do that. Keeping tabs on our division rivals here. Let's talk about the Baltimore Ravens for a second. They today adding quarterback Tyler Huntley to their practice squad. So former longtime backup for Lamar Jackson. A reunion with the Baltimore Ravens. Also today, the Ravens, they locked up their all-pro safety Kyle Hamilton to a 4-year, $100.4 million extension, $82 million of that deal guaranteed. So looks like they are having given Kyle Hamilton almost a Minka Fitzpatrick money like what the Steelers did a handful of years ago. He is now with Baltimore through 2030. Hate that they did that, but it's a smart football move. Kyle Hamilton, hell of a player. Another reunion in the AFC North today. The Cleveland Browns, they made a handful of moves, but the first one, or the most notable one, is they added another quarterback. Sure, they cut Tyler Huntley, who then went back to Baltimore, and they traded away Kenny Pickett, but they brought back Bailey Zappi. He signed with their practice squad. They also added to their practice squad former first-round pick for the New England Patriots, guard Cole Strange, who just got cut yesterday. And they claimed running back Raheem Sanders, a running back who I did some work on in the draft. I want to say he was in the teens, if I remember correctly, of my top running backs in this year's draft class. He is now in Cleveland. They claimed him off of waivers from the Chargers. And to finish up talking about the other three AFC North teams, the Cincinnati Bengals today, they made a signing that we all probably knew that was coming for a good while now. They signed guard Dalton Reisner, who was a free agent up until this point. Reisner has not allowed a sack in over 2 regular seasons, according to PFF. He now goes to Cincinnati. Will probably be doing some blocking at left guard there for Joe Burrow. Great signing there for the Bengals. Reisner, he was rumored to have taken a visit with the Pittsburgh Steelers, which, hey, I would have been over the moon if they would have brought Reisner in to, be a backup, or who knows, maybe even at some point start over Isaac Seumalo or Mason McCormick. But he goes to the Bengals ultimately. I think more than anything, I wanted Reisner just to, keep good things away from the Bengals. Would have been hilarious there. Before I move, continue on here, let's get into some Pittsburgh Penguins extra news here for the day. And this is a big topic here today. This 9 hours ago, Frank Saravalli of the Bleacher Report, he talking about the potential sale of the Pittsburgh Penguins. He says that his sources indicate that the Fenway Sports Group is closing in on a sale to the Hoffman family of companies. That sale is on track to close. The expected valuation, $1.75 billion. So add Saravalli to other reports out there, like from both local reporters and Elliot Friedman, the Penguins. They are indeed up for sale, and the Hoffman family of companies, who are worldwide, 200 companies under the umbrella of the Hoffmans. They own an ECHL team, the Florida Everblades, and now they're looking to take a big step up in the hockey world, buying the Pittsburgh Penguins. Honestly, I said this before, I'll say it again, and I'll probably continue saying it in the future. Anything over Fenway Sports Group. It's evident now that Fenway, when they bought the team off of Mario Lemieux and his crew back in 2021, they didn't really care. They just saw the Penguins as a cash cow, kind of similar to what they have done with their other sports acquisitions. Seems like every single sports team that they acquire, they fall to crap. They own the Boston Red Sox. The Red Sox, after winning a World Series years ago, haven't really sniffed it since. The Fenway Sports Group owns Liverpool soccer team. I don't think Liverpool has been doing all that hot in recent years. And then they go by the Penguins. Of course, the Penguins, after winning back-to-back cups in 16 and 17. By the time, the 2020s hit, they were already trajecting down. I mean, for God's sake, Ron Hextall and Ron Burkle were at the helm there. So, yeah, you can clearly see where the trajectory was going from there. But Fenway buying the team, it's clear they were just going to keep the team for a couple of years. Of course, if the team did well during that span, yippee, didn't really matter to them. They're going to sell the Pens for double the value that they bought it as. At least now, hopefully, the Hoffman family, at least, owning the Florida Everblades there a tiny bit, at the very least, knowledgeable in the world of hockey. So maybe brighter things ahead here in the for the Hoffman family. We will be live immediately if a sale of the Pens to the Hoffmans does indeed come to fruition here within the coming days or weeks. Sticking with the Penguins here, just two extra tidbits on them. The Pens today, they made a minor league coaching hire. They hired Evan McFeeters. Hell of a name. McFeeters. Evan McFeeters. Interesting. He has been hired as a roving minor league coach. Didn't know that such a role existed, but apparently, according to Pens, McFeeters will be a member of the Penguins player development department, supporting both the Wheeling Nailers, the Pens ECHL affiliate, and the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins, the Pens AHL affiliate. So I guess he's sort of a two-way coach there, bouncing back and forth between Wilkes-Barre and Wheeling. So welcome to the organization, Evan McFeeters. And the last piece on the Penguins here today, just an interesting statistic for their schedule this upcoming season. The Penguins will be on national TV 16 times this upcoming season, 10 times on ESPN or ABC, and another 6 on TNT. ESPN and ABC, they will televise the season opener between the Penguins and the New York Rangers in New York. Lots to talk about in that game. We'll probably go live for that game on October 7th. Mike Sullivan and his new team and the Rangers go against former Rangers assistant coach Dan Muse, now head coach of the Pens. And apparently ESPN and ABC, they will also hold the Penguins' final home game of the regular season, which could wind up being Evgeny Malkin's final home game. Lots of uncertainty and speculation that this could be a farewell year of sorts for the Penguins legend. If I had to guess, it probably will be. He will either retire from hockey altogether or not technically retire, but go back overseas and play over in the KHL, give back to his native country of Russia for a couple of years, and then hang up the skates. But interesting, the Pens 16 times on national TV, including their first game of the season and their last home game of the season. I think saw a chart, but I lost it. The Pens on national TV 16 times. That is the second most in the NHL this year, I think, behind the Colorado Avalanche, if I'm not mistaken. So thought that was interesting. Wrapping up the extra Pittsburgh sports news here for today, just one extra Pittsburgh Pirates news. Bleacher Report, we just talked about them, and Frank Saravalli talking about the Penguins sale. The baseball MLB division of Bleacher Report today dropped a top 10 list, and that top 10 list is likely landing spots this offseason for arguably the best catcher in the major leagues for the Baltimore Orioles, Adley Rutschman, and the Pittsburgh Pirates are on that list. Now, they're on the list, but top 10 list, they're number 10. Teams ahead of them, San Francisco Giants, Texas Rangers, Philadelphia Phillies, Chicago Cubs, Detroit Tigers, San Diego Padres, Arizona Diamondbacks, St. Louis Cardinals, and Cincinnati Reds. So I wanted to point this out because the thoughts of Adley Rutschman joining the Bucks talk about adding to the offense in a big way there. But, you know, as far-fetched of a move as this is for the Pirates to make, I have 0.000000000 add in 20 more zeros, 1% faith in a move like that getting made. If the Bucks, were real about making that move. Doesn't help, though, that big market teams like the San Francisco Giants and Philadelphia Phillies and San Diego Padres, as well as 3 of your 4 division rivals are ahead of you. So, once again, we're already starting. The season's not even over, and already the Bucks, they are being lightly rumored, to be in on big name bats and big name free agents. But we all know that almost doesn't get you crap in the MLB, and the Pirates, they are kings of almost getting things done. All right, ladies and gentlemen, before I log off for the evening, going to take one last scroll here through X, see if anything else that is new is happening right now. Seeing offensive lineman Dalton Reisner officially acknowledge his signing with the Cincinnati Bengals. Could have been a Steeler. Would have loved it. But wide receiver 2 first and foremost. And we need to get that done in a hurry. See if anything else is going on here. Seeing a video here of Deshaun Watson working his way back from an Achilles injury. On top of the Browns having old man Joe Flacco, 5'2" Dylan Gabriel, and a Nepo baby and Shadur Sanders. If they were to add Deshaun Watson to their QB carousel at some point this season, that would be absolutely hilarious. And I have, no reason to suspect otherwise that the Browns would do any sort of smart move in that room. So we will see what happens. I think that's going to do it for the night, ladies and gentlemen. I want to once again say thank you. 500 subscribers on the channel. Absolutely insane. Very appreciative to those of you who subscribed tonight to make that happen. And I appreciate every single one of my subscribers equally. The channel would not be here without you guys. It is going to be a fun time the rest of the way. Football season coming up soon. Hockey season right around the corner as well. So lots to talk about here coming up on the channel. Maybe not so much, in the coming weeks, but for the foreseeable future. So hopefully bigger and more successful streams beyond that. But we're going to celebrate tonight. 500 subscribers on the channel. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate you all. One final time, real quick, Flacco, now 1,000 subscribers. That would be a hell of a goal to reach there, Flacco. Maybe we can reach that by the end of the football season here. Not going to count anything else. We will celebrate reaching 750, though, on the way to 1,000. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, one final time, thank you. Thank you to all of you who have subscribed. And if you are watching this right now and have not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications so that you never miss when I am live or upload a video again. Like this live stream, share this live stream, leave a comment after the fact. Go give the channel a follow at Steel City SR on Facebook, Instagram, and X. And be sure to come back later tonight for a new edition of SCSR60. That will be up at some point tonight. Don't know when, but it will be up there. So come back. Flacco, indeed. We will get on that. So thank you all. Appreciate it. Have a good rest of your Wednesday night. Back here tomorrow for some more Pittsburgh sports news. We'll react to what the Buccos do. We'll see if the Steelers make any more moves. And maybe the Pens will be sold by tomorrow. Who knows? Thank you. Have a good rest of your Wednesday night. See you back here tomorrow. Tune back in for SCSR60 tonight. Peace.